What is up, everyone? It is BrickLover18 here today with another LEGO City update. I'm so excited to be giving you another update today because I'm so happy with the progress that has been made on the LEGO City since I started revamping it here in 2023. So let's get right into it. So for starters, one of the very first things that I have to do for this LEGO City update is place the Jazz Club. So I think my plan is to add it to the city right here, right in front, because it is a newer modular building. So that would be removing the detective's office and pool hall and putting it back here. When I started revamping the city, I actually left this spot vacant for it, and I think that it'll be perfect there. In order to move it, I will have to do some reconfiguring. So for starters, I think this building will have to be raised a little bit. And I'll have to modify the base as well because you guys can see I built it specifically for that building here. But I just think the Jazz Club will look a lot better here once it is placed. So that is kind of where it's going to go. Another thing I have to do for the city is, of course, a lot of staging. So right now you guys will see there are no buildings, no minifigures, and all that good stuff. So I will have to do that as well. And of course, I will also have to work on the subway track. So what I think I'm going to do for starters is I'm actually going to move these tables out of the way. So I made it easy so I can easily just move the tables, take them out of the way, and work on the rest of the city there. So that's what I'm going to do, just so I can work on the city without having all of this part in the way. And then once I get more progress done, I will put all of the tables back. Before I move the tables out of the way as well, I think it's time I finally order some of the parts that I need to complete this section of the LEGO City. You guys know I use the 1x6x5 panels under here, which makes it look really awesome on this part of the city. But I ran out of parts, so that's why it is still exposed with the ugly Duplo and some of the cardboard. So I think I'm going to head to my computer over here and grab some parts from Bricklink before I start ripping apart the city. So I came over here to Bricklink and I found a seller here that had 60 of these 1x6x5 panels, which is really awesome. It's only $16.52 USD. So I'm just going to buy them all because the best part is this is a local seller. This is Toronto Bricks. I didn't even know this existed, but it's not that far from me. So I'm going to buy this. $35. I'll also get some minifigures and stuff with it that aren't related to the city, but I'll be good to go. All right, guys, flash forward over a month. I've got an order here from Bricklink containing over 60 of the white panels. And it is time to redo the LEGO City and add these white panels to it. So you guys can see I got started by removing the wall here in the LEGO City. I was able to leave most of the top part on that was connected to the base plate and then just had to remove everything underneath. And then I went along and lined it up with all of the 1x6 panels. So they didn't actually connect anywhere to the city. They just kind of fit in place and it's more of a friction fit. Once the actual front of the wall goes on, that's how they really do stay in place. So I had to do a little configuring there and get everything to go. Unfortunately, the end part here was a little bit too tiny, so I had to replace those with bricks instead and couldn't use the 1x6 panels. Once the 1x6 panels were in place there, I was able to just add everything up, lock it all together, and then I actually went around to the side as well because I want to be able to continue the wall around the side eventually, even though I'm not quite there yet because of the subway, but it's still looking good and I'm glad to at least got some of it done. The wall looks so much better now here in the LEGO City with the white panels in place. It actually looks complete and looks like a proper city now that the Duplo bricks are completely hidden, so I'm very excited for that. I even actually continued the wall wrapping around a little, because eventually I do want it to continue here as well, because I will have a second subway platform, but again, I'll need to place another Bricklink order, and that is a long-term project. So now that the wall is in, I'm going to have to do some of the repairs to the city, just from things falling over while I was working underneath. But I'm not going to do that because first I am going to remove this table here and actually start working on the back part of the city and probably doing some staging. So moving this table out of the way actually proved to be much easier than I thought it would be. It's the first time I've done it, so I was happy. All I had to do was start by removing some of the road plates from the bridge, and then I had to remove some of the modular buildings that hang on both tables or just are on the table but not very well supported if they weren't next to the Grand Emporium. And then once I was done that, I just had to slide the table out of the way, which was really easy. I just had to be a little careful and make sure that I didn't do it too fast or anything like that. And then once the table was out of the way, I was actually able to access the back part of the LEGO City and remove some of those buildings as well. So I've removed the table here in the LEGO City, and it was the first time I've ever moved it with things on it. And guys, I was really excited for how easy it was. You saw in the clips, the time lapse there. I just had to move a few buildings and it slid out of the way very flawlessly. So that's awesome and really good to know. It'll probably get a little bit more complicated when I add the subway in, but I was just happy it was so easy. So I've removed the city here. It looks like it's an absolutely mess right now, but it's really not. I've moved these buildings here so I can easily access the construction site. I've already started pulling some of the vehicles out. I'm going to move the high rise here because what's going to happen is that police, the pool hall, detective's office, whatever it is going to go back here just because I've had that set for so long now and it's been front and center. And then where is it? The jazz club that's way over there is going to go right here, which is really exciting. So I'm going to make those changes now. Before I make those changes, one of the things I need to do in this video is get some more billboards for the tile square. That one's been empty since I started redoing the city in January. It's time to fix that. So I started by removing the apartment building, obviously, and then I came in and removed the construction site. I put the detective's office in place so I could get a feel of how it's going to look in the area, and I was happy with it, so that's good. I then removed what was existing from the black skyscraper on the detective's office and ripped away some of the old remnants of the apartment building from when it was attached to the corner garage. Then I had to put the apartment building back in place to kind of get a lay of the land, and I started building up the new wall underneath. This new wall actually took up significantly more bricks because it is quite a bit larger of a drop than it was previously, but it all worked out. The integration of the apartment building went really well. You guys can see it fit really nicely next to the barber shop and like the pool shop and stuff like that, the detective's office. So very, very excited for that. And I think it's going to look awesome having the jazz club and the police station back here. Speaking of which, I now just very effortlessly put the jazz club as well as the detective's office back into the Lego city. I already had two modulars here, so it was super easy to do. The jazz club is in and I'm so excited for how this looks. I think it looks really, really awesome. I forgot I didn't actually switch out any of the tiles, so I'm going to have to do that before I get it in place. But then, of course, I also need to add the skyscraper, which is right here, and that's going to take a little bit more work because I forgot that this building is much taller than this one, but that's okay, I'll get it done. The new sidewalk is in. I'm really happy with how that looks. I decided to keep a mixture of the light bluish gray, dark bluish gray, and the tan tiles, and I think it looks really nice there, so I did some configuration and I'm very, very happy with how that looks. One part I didn't even realize was how nice the two modular buildings actually look side by side. The police station and the jazz club, like those two pastel colors, honestly, together look like it could be a modular building. So the fact that they're not, I don't know if Lego did that intentionally, but I'd never seen them placed like this, or I don't recall seeing them placed like this. And I was really excited when I put that in. I was like, wow, that looks awesome. But I just realized I put the light post right where the crosswalk is supposed to be, so I'll have to fix that because that looks stupid and unrealistic. Now it's also time to remove all of these Lego minifigures from the Jazz Club. Those will be great for doing some staging and stuff. And it's time to add the skyscraper back to between those two buildings. So my original plan here was to actually have the black skyscraper be at the very front of these two modular buildings. I wanted to take advantage of the existing framework that I had and cover up the door and have it in line with the roof of the laundromat. However, as I started working on this a little bit more and actually finished it up, I realized I did not like the way it looked. I thought it was way too forward here in the Lego City. So after I actually filmed this clip, I'm going to go back and redo it because I just didn't like how it looked, and I think the new way is going to look much better. But in general, I did just use a bunch of dark bluish gray bricks, some textured, some brick, and then just some regular ones to give it a little texture and make it look decent. So like I said, guys, I completely tore apart what I just built, which is kind of ironic because I'm not doing another time lapse of me just ripping it apart and rebuilding it in, but I just didn't like it. I wanted it to be back from the road a little bit. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm moving it back a few studs so it's not right off the edge. I'm going to add a door here, so there's going to be a nice little room area for like a mechanical room and stuff like that. And I'm just going to have it circle over here. So still using a lot of the building techniques and stuff like that that I used from the last clip, but it's just off the road a little bit more and it's going to look much nicer. I think the building looks so much nicer here now that I've moved it back a few studs. So there's like almost like a little patio area right here, but I just think it looks much better and it looks more cohesive versus right at the front like it was kind of in the city. I've also removed the billboards from Tile Square because like I said earlier, it's time to get some more there. So I'm printing a few off. I'm going to do one for Brick World and I'm going to do one for Lego 2K Drive just because it has been so popular recently. But very happy with how the city's looking there. I think like it looks just like I wanted to. I like the contrast between all the colors and all the buildings, and I do think it needs another tower, but I'm excited to see more what it looks like once I get the billboards back in. Taking this opportunity now while the table's also out of the way to do some dusting to the Lego City. It's better to do this every once in a while and not wait until it's too, undustable or too beyond repair. Great stuff. So the city is now dusted. Everything is looking good. I love how the new building looks. Tile Square is back in place here, including the two new billboards. I've got a BrickLetters 18 billboard and a 2K Drive one, so very excited about that. I think it looks pretty sweet if I do say so myself. So now what I want to work on here in the city is doing a little bit more staging, because right now there isn't a lot of minifigure life or anything like that, and while this table's out of the way and I can easily access the rest of the city, I figured that would be just like the perfect time to run through everything. My least favorite part now is just dusting the Lego City. It is important to do this every few months because the Lego City is just sitting out in the open and does collect a lot of dust, but I hate doing it. It is never a good time. I dust with a mix of the Clean My Bricks vacuum. I found that's my favorite one, but also sometimes I do use a Swiffer. It's just a little bit easier, or if it's a larger surface. And then while I'm doing a mixture of the dusting and vacuuming, I'm also staging the Lego City. While I'm taking advantage of the table being out of the way, I'm adding some of the Lego City vehicles, adding some minifigures. It's always hard when staging the city because you don't want to add too much detail, but you also don't want to add not enough detail and it doesn't actually look like a big, large city that you want it to be. So it's all about finding that perfect balance. And I'm starting to do a little bit of it in today's video, but a majority of it will probably get done in the next Lego City update. So I didn't get as much staging done as I would have hoped to in this city update just because the rest of it did take so long and I don't want to make this too long of a video, but you guys can see I did start to put some of the vehicles in and started aligning some of the Lego minifigures, so it looks really good. I think before I do the rest of the staging, I really have to do a lot of sorting of some of those minifigures and just some of the other parts and stuff like that that could go in the city. I already talked about it in another vlog recently, but I've just got also a lot of bins of like cars and stuff like that that I really just want to sort through and kind of figure out what I want in my city, what I don't want, and things like that. And I just don't have time to do it right now to include it in this update. So that will have to be for the next update. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching today's Lego City update. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe. Of course, stay tuned because update number 6 will be coming very soon and it's got lots of really great things and it's going to be a great update for the Lego City. So anyway, guys, thanks again for watching and I hope you have a great day.